Hey guys, welcome to this new tutorial of Maya modeling. I'm Jose, and today I'm going to be showing a few modeling tools. Not building anything in particular, but I guess that we're just going to try to work our way around a few things, right? So let's start again by creating a polyplane. And I'm going to start by just increasing the number of subdivisions of this plane to maybe 20 and 30. So you see we have something like that. First thing I want to do is position this plane precisely in this grid, right? So if I press, I already had pressed W to just have the move tool active, right? So if I press D, you see I can toggle and have this icon here right now that allows me to move this pivot point, right? So that's useful. Let's say we want to put the pivot point here. The problem is that we are not snapping it, so it's not precise that we're snapping or like doing anything around these edges here. So the thing that we want to do is press D and at the same time press X, right? Because X allows me to snap this thing to the grid. So we don't want to snap it to the grid right now. We want to snap it to the points. So how do we do that? D is for the grid, V, you can see that how we're kind of activating snapping to points now, and now we can actually snap to the point, and that's good. And now if we press X, we can snap to, V is just to snap to the grid, and then without moving the control point I can just snap to the grid, and you can see that I can take this plane to the grid. Why is this useful? Because we are going to work with an idea of symmetry here, so we're going to just try to mirror this plane around just by scaling it. So if we work around this axis, that should be easy, right? So let's start by, let's say I want to just select some faces, right? So let's say I want to pick out of these faces around. But if I have a situation like this, this is not really kind of useful, right? So what if I want to just draw somehow like a selection of these, some strips to actually remove some geometry? So I can actually use this brush tool, the paintbrush selection. So you can see that if I go into face mode, I can paint these faces now. And if I press B, and I keep it pressed, I can actually increase the brush size or decrease it, right? So let's actually go quite high res. Let's go back again to object mode and this plane maybe put 40 and 60. So we have a bit high res geometry. So I could just use these big strokes, but I could actually do something like that, and maybe I can just draw some stripes here. So I'm just painting some stripes around, like building some pattern, you know, like something that could look interesting. So maybe something like that. So that looks okay. And the next thing I'm going to do just now, it's in face mode. I want to shift click. I'm going to go to extrude faces, right? Make sure that I'm starting from scratch, everything clear. I'm going to press apply, and I'm going to just extrude these faces slightly, right? So you can see that I'm extruding these faces a little bit. So that's good. We're extruding these faces. If you press 3, you see that we're kind of creating this kind of relief. We've been a little bit higher. And I'm going to do this again, extrusion, but this time I want to just do an offset. So I'm going to put 0.1 and let's see what we're getting. So you see that I can actually create like an inset to this geometry. And now I'm going to just put 0 again and press apply again. And this time I didn't put anything, but you see that I'm kind of just pushing this down ever so slightly, right? So I'm creating this kind of openings, and I'm gonna delete the faces now. So I basically created some sort of openings, right? Why is this useful? I mean, I don't know. I'm just kind of fooling around with the modeling. So actually, this is what I have, right? If you're interested in having some more sharpness in your edges, you can go ahead and just again shift click insert edge tool, so you can add, for instance, this island could have a sharper edge or something like that. Or not, right? Like just so let's go ahead and try to mirror this guy. So you see that we already have some transformations going on here. So it happens that if you you're interested in it, you could actually go here to channel, and you can actually freeze transformation, like all transformations. That will actually reset that the local, like the actual position right now, and all the stack will disappear. So so you see that everything became 0. So let's Control D. I just pressed Control D, and you see that I should have now basically two objects. So this one I'm gonna scale it and then edit big one like that. So now I have like a mirror image, right? If I pick these two guys, I could actually go right click with shift pressed right click and then press combine. So I have one geometry out of both. And often this stuff, for instance, I press 1, and if I go into vertex, you would want to merge these vertices in the middle, right? So I could just go, the easiest way of doing this is just doing it from a side view. So you could just select all of them, right? And that's very precise. And if you shift right click again over your vertices, you can actually merge vertices. But you see that they're all kind of linking to one point here. That's because if you go to your stack and you see poly merge vertices, you have the distance between them. Let's try something smaller. It seems that even in a very small distance it's not working for us. Let's see. I'm gonna try it again. Shift right click. Merge vertices. I just accidentally typed merge vertices to center. So just gonna type merge vertices, and you see that now a very small radius around the vertices, because they are kind of actually touching. The radius should be very small, but if we have 1, you would get again similar situation that we had before. You just need to make sure that it's 0.01 or something like that, and then you are actually merging these vertices here. So let's look at this in object mode now, and if we merge it, you see that we should be fine, right? So we get something here. What else can we do with this? Let's see some deformation tools. If you just, I know that in the first tutorial I think I kind of isolate a like everything that got to do with. I left only the polygon tools, and you have probably this, right? So what I'm gonna do is just turn on the animation tools as well, because some of the animation tools are the deformers, like create deformers, right? And this is something that could be used for animation, but also could be used for modeling. So I just kind of like took this tool out and to actually create some of the deformers, right? And one that I want to show you today is just lattice, right? Lattice. Again, I'm going to just reset the tool. The lattice, when you create it, let's try it. the lattice is going to create like a box around your geometry, and you see that the box is highlighted green and it's pointing out like pink the geometry itself, because the geometry is being controlled by the lattice, right? The lattice is this element here. It will give me like control, like this cage to actually push around, and it will deform the geometry, but this cage is not so useful for us right now, because it has a lot of edges in one direction, in directions that we're not so interested in. So I'm gonna just undo that, and I'm gonna use maybe 2 here, but I'm gonna put maybe 4 in this direction. Let's see what we get here. So that's a bit more useful for us, right? We have this cage that has some cuts in the middle. So if we just go right click and use lattice points, we can actually move this stuff around. And you see how the geometry is following very precisely, very linearly, the connections of these points, right? It's following very strictly, especially because our geometry has so many vertices all over the place that it's, in a way, it can follow very well, right? So what we're gonna do is, again, undo the lattice, and this time we're gonna add local subdivision. So we're gonna just add maybe 10, and we'll see what this do. So if I apply now the same lattice with local subdivisions, I don't get to see anything different, but you see that now there seems to be kind of a smooth following of the lattice to my geometry, right? So that's actually a bit nicer. So let's do it one more time, having this in mind, and maybe we'll put a few more, maybe 20, but this time I want to put just subdivisions in this direction as well, maybe 4 as well. Let's try that. So I have a very kind of like a square lattice, and I can just go into lattice points, and I can start manipulating around. I'm going to just start working and bending this in 3D as well, so you can see the effects that we can get. You can actually pick these two, start scaling them in, right? So this is very simple techniques to kind of shape this geometry. Just rotate some of this. Maybe I want to move it down. So it's a very cheap trick to actually start getting some geometry to behave. Like maybe I didn't like the whole, like this kind of area that was too small, so I'm gonna just do it like this, and then maybe over this side. You can always add more points. But yeah, you have a lattice, and you start you could start deforming the geometry, and so if your geometry actually can handle the bending, it will actually look very smooth, and you should be able to control that pretty well. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this one. We've seen the lattice deformation, paint tools, snapping, and a few other things. Thanks for watching.